What is good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy King. We are about to check out Sneako versus ABBA, guys. This is about to be a good one. Let's see. Apparently, they had a heated discussion with Jadeon and the one, the only Destiny, and apparently Rage quits. So let's see what going. And I'm gonna break this down the best I can, give you some, extra little insight, little tidbits into what I think about the whole situation of ABBA and Preach pretty much posting a video about Sneako and discussing him and his obviously his downfall and talking about the fact that they warned him, or in fact ABBA warned him to say, he needs to calm down with his rhetoric and his messaging. But anyway, I digress. Let's go in. Let's watch this. Let's go.
If you have an issue with it, you can voice it. Go ahead.
Why are you coming in so hostile, man?
Well, no. Hold on. To be clear, wait. Abba came to this.
Yeah, why is he playing this music? Why is he playing this music? It's so like chill and mellow. Like, what's going on there? What's this about?
Really? Did he really just? Oh, he mad.
He playing the sad music and Sneako down, Sneako down. Our boy is down mad. He is down bad.
Well, what's up? Sneako's
Sneako
Abba here.
Oh no, he's getting sturdy.
What
I'm
is,
over here instigating. That boy Sneako, he pissed right now.
Uh-oh.
He's been
bro? What's the guy doing?
all day.
Oh,
He's been
Living his
mad.
best life.
He's charging
somebody
up
need.
right
Abba's been riding too high on a lot of drama recently. Okay, between Ethan and Hassan
He looks so ready to go in. He looks so ready to go in.
and Sneako, I think somebody's a knock Abba down. Peg up. This guy's getting pretty big, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, y'all can feel free to start any second now. I'll say everything I said before. I'll say on stream. I'll say the motherfucker. I don't care. I'll keep the same energy. So y'all feel free to.
This is wild.
Yeah, talk your shit, Abba. Talk about it.
Yeah, he's instigating. He's instigating. He's being petty.
I was
Petty.
Robin. This is Jadeon's show. I don't know. What were you guys talking about before here? Factorio?
Well, you said you wanted to join and talk to Abba.
That was Jadeon. That wasn't me.
Oh. Well, Jadeon, what do you want to say to Abba?
It's hot in here. It's a pressure cooker. I understand why, obviously why Sneako feels a bit betrayed, but
Jadeon, what do you want to say to Abba?
let's go into it.
Then we gonna switch up.
Okay, wait, hold on, real quick, because I
This
haven't.
is so
Wait,
cringe.
real quick. I just got home, so I haven't watched any videos yet. You guys aren't all like talking mad on Twitter and YouTube videos, and now that you guys are in the same room, nobody wants to say anything, right? That's not what's
If
happening
only,
right now, is it?
if only you knew, Destiny. If only you
Hey,
knew.
listen, I said what I said. So if there's an issue with what I said, we can talk about it.
Abba's made several videos saying some tasteful things about me.
It's a tasteful.
Okay, well, Abba, what do you want to, Sneako? Do you want to take him to task?
Judea.
Fight on a particular topic, or what? What do you
Well,
guys?
no, it does well. It does well. Saying negative things about me is good content. So I understand. Go ahead. I mean,
What do you mean? You saw the video, so if you have an issue with it, you can voice it. Go ahead.
Why are you coming in so hostile, man? I understand why you're doing it.
It's putting pressure. You can see Abba's pretty much ready for conflict. Even from the tonality of his voice, you can you can feel it, you can sense it.
It's good content. Your viewers like to see it. They're like, yeah, Abba, you're the moral police. You stay consistent, Abba. Feel
Yee!
better.
Yes, guys.
All right. So let's get started. Speaking about me is so, it works. Whatever your passive aggressive voice. You realize the video that I did.
It is passive aggressive.
The highest amount of views is one where I agree with you and I show you love.
No, the recent one though, like the last 3 you did in the past week.
What about the last three I did? I just told you. You made the claim that negativity sells. So I understand why you did it. For the views or whatever. And I'm telling you that the highest viewed video that I have actually talking about you and what you were doing is a video where I show you love. So what is your reply?
What's the video where you show me love?
The video in which you were confronting some
He's
feminists
not clued
on
on. He's not clued on.
1 minute podcast.
Yeah. That's a pretty good video as well.
You were showing me love?
I was agreeing with you. I was literally going against the person that you
Judea.
were talking about and saying why you were making sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Cool.
right now, at this point, it's very profitable to say like, I told you so, Sneako. You should have listened to me.
It's very
I know
profitable.
better.
It is, man. It actually is. It actually is.
Okay. Yes, I did tell you so, Sneako.
Oh, so Sneako just exposed that. Sneako just exposed that Abba was telling him Fresh and Fit is bad. He was he was trying to deter him from hanging out with the likes of Myron and Fresh. But hey, to the extent that I've seen it, if you are really good friends with the types of Myron's and Fresh, I think those are the type of friends you'd want to have. The Abbas of the world, it seems like he's very fickle, and in terms of the fact that he is quick to use you for content, friend or not, he doesn't really care. It's about being able to discuss things openly, and that's his ethos. He's able to discuss and be free with what he says, whether it's his friend or not. He has no blinders on for friends or whatnot. But these are not the type of friends you generally want to have. Friends like this, throw you under the bus in not literally, but they, kind of throw you under the bus, jump on the bandwagon per se, just to not seem like they're, one-sided or they're biased towards you. But if they're your friend, what they should really do is get on a platform like this and then hash it out where they're all discussing it together instead of one person making a video on the other person. They should do as they always do, discuss the topics together. In terms of Abba making the video by himself, it's a bit problematic because Sneako feels, that betrayal where, like the likes of the Fresh and Fits, they would never make a video, talking about Sneako's canceling and like he deserved it. This is what it is what it is. So it's kind of problematic. Like you want the friends you want to have are the ones that pull you as I'm sure Abba's done, talk to you on the sidelines and keep it there. Keep it in the back door. Keep it on the back door action or on a platform where you all speak together and you understand what is being discussed. You know what I mean? Instead of just waking up one morning and thinking, oh, they made a hit piece about me.
I mean, everyone,
it's a bit tough.
Everyone, Gideon said that, Destiny said that, Andrew Tate said that. Brad
Man's
Moore
down.
said
He's
that.
down
Everybody
bad.
Was
He's
aware
down
that the way
bad.
I'm talking is going to get me canceled, but you were incorrect about a lot of the information that you talked about. It wasn't that clip from me simulating or telling the feminist that she needs to get laid more. It was just an accumulation of a lot of misinformation and other. Man,
real quick on my
my
opinion on that. The reason why I think it was that clip, and I understand that you might get banned for a particularly different thing, but when I'm trying to figure out why somebody got banned, I feel like the public makes the mistake in that they look at like what did you violate in the TOS and what was the ban reason. But I think the most important thing is what catches people's attention, because once people have like your attention, like now you're gonna get banned for some shit. So like on Twitch, for instance, I probably got banned for some random transphobic thing or whatever. I guess I don't know what they just said hate speech, but the reason I got banned was for fighting with Keffels, because if I wouldn't have had that fight with Keffels, I wouldn't have had all the people mass reporting me and their eyes on me, etc., etc. But it was because of that fight that I got banned.
So just talk about Sneaks for 2 seconds. So his ban, in my humble opinion, was one of those. It's like as they used to make fun of him for being like a Tate light or a Taco Tate, a Taco Tate. He basically got taco banned. You know what I mean? Like he just got lightly banned on a few platforms. Nothing too crazy. He ain't getting banned from the Ubers or whatnot. Lightly banned. So, he's still got his feet out there in the world. He can still move about, but it's a bit more, restricted, especially on the major platforms like the YouTubes, the Twitch. And the Twitch one was just out of left field. But again, it's one of those ones where your whole messaging, your whole persona, your whole branding was very abrasive. And, if people want to keep their sponsors, they're going to do what is necessary to axe you. And we're looking at Ethan Klein go through a similar situation where he is getting declined. He is getting declined. So it's the streets are cold right now. The streets are cold. So people just have to be careful and understand that this is a workplace and a workspace, and you must treat it as such. Obviously, everyone on here is an entrepreneur to some level, but you have to understand that you're in someone else's house, and if you're in someone else's house, you have to follow their rules. And if you don't, it's cap. And if they just want to kick you out, they can just kick you out because those are the rules. It is what it is. Adapt or die. That's it.
So like I feel like when you made that video, you remember that one curly haired kid that made the like we need to ban Sneako for abusing women, blah blah blah. I think just from what I've seen, I could be wrong, but that seemed like the thing that got a lot of people like super riled up on Twitter and YouTube and shit, trying to like call for people to ban you and shit. So I'm curious if that was like the thing that led everybody mass reporting and shit. But I could be wrong. But.
I mean,
just to let the stream know, I am collaborating on a new channel ran by my editor. I'm frequently on there live streaming. He has me as a guest. So you can go find there. That's a way that I'm going to be able to stay on YouTube.
Cap,
Just
he's
collaborating
streaming
as a guest
himself.
on new platforms. That's where you can find me. There's a new channel that's doing pretty well right now, so go subscribe to there if you missed the old content.
What's the name of the new channel?
It's called. It's just called Sneako.
Okay.
The rise was so good. The fall was so great. Jeez, monumental rise, destructive fall. Like I have never seen anything like it. For someone to go up and shoot up so quickly to just get destroyed, almost decapitated. He jumped too high, and right at the top, the guillotine was sliding and just yeet took his neck off.
Philip Soldier of God, it pops up.
It does.
Yeah, I typed it in, it popped up.
Oh, okay.
But I guess it has to like register.
Yeah, it's pretty shadow banned right now. It's hard to find, but yeah, you can. I bet you could do some research.
All right. Well, you and Abba, you're here. This is it. The big showdown.
I don't know.
Let's
Honestly,
go!
I was like a lot of 30-minute videos. I just was curious if he still had stuff to say while we're in the call.
No, I said everything I had to say. I mean, it's just a repetition of what I told you.
I didn't really watch the video. I saw the beginning of it. I'm like, okay, he's doing the thing that a lot of people are doing right now. I get
He's
it.
doing the thing.
Oh, if you didn't watch it, then we good. We have nothing to talk about. I said,
You see this, and this is the thing. It's like there's no friendship energy here. You know what I mean? Like there is no like we're actually boys, we're friends. You know, fair enough. They're just colleagues. They might be acquaintances, not really on the part of friends. But the way they were talking on some of these podcasts and some of these chats was pretty, you know, personable. They had fun. They joked. They laughed. You'd think they were friends. They do. He does the same thing with the fresh and fit lot. They have fun. They joke around. But they would never do something of this caliber to throw the individual under the bus, essentially to discuss him in a negative light instead of just saying like, you know, canceling is bad. But Abba and Priest truly are have no loyalties, and personally, I wouldn't ride with people like that because you just don't know when they're gonna expose you. Like you don't know when they're gonna expose you, and even then, like you might even tell them don't expose me, but you know, for their interest, I guess.
Well, maybe you could have told
His moral
me
code is one
instead
that
of
is
making
different
another hit
to
piece
my
video,
own.
Like, well, everyone's against me right now. While Big Tech's against me, all these soy boys. You could have sent a text or a call before making all these videos.
hold up. So I texted you before I talked about the DJ academic stuff, and I texted you before. You remember I texted you, and I barely talked about you in
They
that
were in
video.
contact.
One.
See,
Two,
so they were kind of
I
boys.
didn't even make this video until you called me and you said, "Yo, how come you talk about this but not my deplatforming?" I said, "Oh, well, if you want me to talk about the deplatforming, then I will." I didn't make the video before that. You told me to talk about it, and now that I've talked about it, you're like, "Well, why did you make a video about it?"
I didn't tell you to talk about it. I said that on a commentary channel where you frequently talk about drama and that people you know in the community, that may be talking about how this is a problem that everybody can get wiped from all these platforms, and then also single out something that makes me look bad and makes it look like I'm committing essay on camera. That's really not the reason. I was banned off.
And that is the key right there, because again, discussing the ban itself is nothing too crazy. It's the fact that obviously he solicited Abba to do that, make a video, but in Abba's you know, neutrality and, you know, oneness, he decided to, you know, put some, you know, negative stuff in there as well, just to paint a better picture of what the possibilities could have been for why he was banned. But at the same time, if that is your boy, you don't do them like that. You just keep that behind the scenes. You talk to them, you discuss, you tell them what they should do moving forward, and you keep it there. You know what I mean? You make the video, make it light. Just say, you know what, there could have been a range of reasons he got banned. Keep it light. That's your boy. You know, you want to see them obviously come out the other side. But from the way Abba's speaking, he seems like he's ready to burn bridges just like that.
With pretty much every single social media site. It has nothing to do with that. I think that's a bigger issue than trying to equate it to like I told you so or fresh and fit. That's too simple of a video. But I understand it does well for your audience.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I did it.
And that is true. It does well for his audience. Yeah.
There's
That's-
nothing else
that's
to talk
facts.
about. If you think I'm doing this because it's for views, then we have nothing to talk about.
Well, it's not necessarily for views, but at the same time, you want to keep the image of being neutral. You know what I mean? You can't be a person who has been neutral all this time and then, or being, you know, honest in all aspects of content, looking at all the good and the bad. You can't be that person and then do it with your friend, just look at the good. You look a bit, you know, shady, especially with the community that Abba and Preach have, especially whenever they had the whole incident with F and F. that incident was basically the beginning of, it doesn't matter if we know you or we're cordial. If there's a video and you say some dumb stuff, we're gonna, expose you.
Why
What
do
can
you
I
think you're
offer this
doing it?
conversation?
If it's not for views, why do you think you're
No,
doing
but
it?
you're already
Instead of extending the hand of coming to the platform back again, saying, hey, I need to come back on the platform so we can talk about this, because I feel like, you guys are moving mad in this respect. And then that way, you keep that friendship or that, business relationship, but you still get to challenge the other people's views. But this time, obviously you're face to face in person.
convinced of why I'm doing it. You're so sure that I'm doing it for the views. This is again what I spoke about the video. You are incapable of taking accountability. In your own final message, you're like, "Oh, KSI is hating. Oh, look at him gloating." And basically, what he said in the clip is, "I told him he's moving."
Yeah, and the whole final message thing, I don't think he should have done that. He should have learned from Andrew's mistakes. He did not, and that's the key here. He did not learn from Andrew's mistakes. He saw what happened, and he continued to do. Again, that's just insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You saw this dude go banned. You're doing similar stuff. They call you Taco Tate. You are also gonna get banned. So there is no sympathy to Sneako on like like an intelligent, like a logical sense. But as a friend, you obviously have to be there to support him if you are a friend. But at the same time, yeah, he should have understood the situation and known not to do the same things. You watched that video from Andrew saying, I should maybe have messaged things a bit more in a more palatable manner, which he should have done. And he didn't take that messaging on board, and he kept going on and on and on, thinking he's invincible. But hey, burn bright, die young.
Moving mad. I told him he's moving mad.
clip was
And that's
edited
your idea.
improperly.
No. That's your idea of someone hating on you or making
No,
fun of you.
that clip was edited improperly. I
And everyone did tell him he was moving mad.
didn't edit the video.
And he just said, yo, bots. Again, like, the accountability has to be there.
He was
And it's a bit fresh right now, so, hey, let my
on
man
Twitter and he
sulk.
replied, "Who?" When Keemstar said that Sneako was banned on YouTube, he said, "Who?" Question mark.
We don't care.
Which I think is making fun of the situation where I got banned because he clearly knows who I am. We went back and forth, and so he's just trying to gloat and he's trying to make it
Okay.
about clout.
Okay, so let me ask you. So this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity right now. What do you think that you did wrong to contribute to your situation?
Oh, here we go.
Getting banned off of every social media platform.
Yes.
Here we go.
Tell the truth.
Okay. All right. Then this is my case in point.
Okay, my guy. You said tell the truth, yes, but it is within the manner of which you told the truth. How did you say it? How did the way you presented your message make people feel? And it was not, obviously it inspired. It was abrasive for people who like, a lot of dudes who like that type of communication, which is straightforward, no nonsense, abrasive type of communication. But the world at large is not really one that is moving that direction of pure blunt communication. And as a businessman, you have to understand where the tides are going and move that way. You don't have to completely neuter your message, mute yourself, but you have to kind of adapt your messaging in a way that will allow you to still exist like the Nick Fuenteses of the world.
That's why I made the video. You were unable to see the ways in which you contribute to your own outcomes, and you just think you're just telling the truth.
You are unable to see why I got the strikes. You didn't talk about that. You didn't talk about the first strike was COVID misinformation. The second strike was election misinformation.
Yeah.
And the third one was cyberbullying for a clip that was not even what you played in the video. It had nothing to do with that.
Listen, once you made that clip on that girl, you know what happens? She talks to her manager. Her manager goes to YouTube, and YouTube finds a way to go after you without making her implicated. The reason why they didn't cite that clip is they didn't want your fans to go after her so you can quote her. YouTube
Plausible.
has good ways of working. They
That
won't
is
actually
plausible.
claim what it is exactly for. They understand you've broken the rules, and then they work backwards. You don't understand that once you made that video, YouTube was looking at you all kinds of crazy. Now, you don't need to believe that. You can believe it's something else. You can believe it's what's telling the truth. I'm just wondering, when are you going to come into this
Video that I was
conversation
being
and
profiled
take
when I was
accountability
playing
for why
the
you are where you are?
You said yourself it was when I was being played in the Senate. It's much bigger than just one feminist getting mad at me.
Yeah, he made it to the
Why
Senate.
hasn't I been
My
banned? Why
guy.
hasn't Destiny been banned? Why hasn't anybody else on the? Is it because we're all bots?
the tenacity at which they spread the message is not the same. They have a lot of humor. They are under the guise of comedian. Destiny's under the guise or is in the guise because he is of a content creator who is a debater. He likes to challenge other people's positions. So for them, they understand it's coming from a debate standpoint. Whereas from Sneako, it just sounded like it was just shouting obscenities and abuse into a mic. It was funny, as funny as it was. You have to be smarter than that. You have to move more intelligently than that. And that's the key. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key. For you to be competent in all realms, as Andrew would say, you have to understand the business you're in and how to maximize your profit while keeping your message.
Well, you play the middle ground. You don't really try to talk about stuff that's going to make people uncomfortable.
Okay.
You don't talk about the issues that you don't.
But you can talk about those things. It just depends on how you talk about them and whether or not you give leeway to the other side. Like for me, for example, I don't like it doesn't matter what other people do. What matters is what I do and how productive I am. The world can do what it does, but as long as I understand the rules of how everything works, I can maneuver the way I want to, understanding the consequences of certain actions would bring and bear upon me and or the people you associate with. So you have to know these things.
You don't question the powers that be, and you don't talk about the uncomfortable truths that are really happening.
Okay, what about
Wait,
Destiny?
hold
What
on. I
about
gotta
Destiny?
ask. Hold on.
What about Destiny?
Wait,
What
hold on.
about
To be
Destiny?
clear, my advice to you is not the same, okay, as Abba, who's a bot, okay? My only advice typically is
This guy.
and I'll repeat the thing I said all the time is, and I take this my own advice, is only fight with one person at a time. I think I've even told you that on stream.
Good advice.
Before. As long as you fight with one person at a time, usually okay. But when you start dipping into like 2 or 3 or 4 different communities, shit gets like really because like it's kind of Abba basically just resaid what I had said before, or we're saying the same thing that like when you do one really bad thing and people start to like you catch their eye, people start to look for everything to fucking axe you off of anything, and you'll start getting like it's happening right now with a bunch of lefty YouTubers, actually me and Vosh, where people are just going through and like spam reporting every single video in our VODs because they don't like whatever shit. That's always like the thing to be careful of. But like hold on, when you say like I have to stand up for myself, okay, for a second. When you say, like, don't speak truth to power or don't, like, make people uncomfortable, you understand that when you're talking about me, that's a really silly thing to say, right?
You
Like,
make people uncomfortable, but not the powers that be. Because it wasn't just YouTube. I was wiped off of every single social media platform except for Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a reason that happened. There's a microscope on me.
okay, well, hold on.
And
I don't want to, like, make this a dick-waving competition, but, like, I've been banned off TikTok. I've been banned off Twitter. I've been banned off Twitch. Like, how many social media platforms have you been banned off of?
except for Instagram.
Only been now.
Have you? Oh, did you up? Oh, speaking of Twitch, actually, real quick.
Wait, I got banned on Twitch for
Well,
in 2 days.
What was
for no
your
reason.
What was your ban for on Twitch?
ban evasion?
Did you ever appeal that?
Yeah.
What did they say when you appealed?
Haven't
Yo,
replied.
it's tough out here in these streets, man.
Ban evasion for
You have to be
never-
intelligent.
Yeah, because if you didn't have an
I
account,
never streamed on Twitch, no. So it's very clear that they don't want me. I'm talking about shit that they don't want to hear.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody played that clip of you doing that to that girl, and they said, we don't want you doing that about Pokemon or anybody else.
Exactly.
This guy gotta go.
Exactly. He's got to
It's bigger than
go.
that clip. I think that's simplifying it for the audience that
It is simplifying it, but again, it's just an accumulation of too much similarities, too much of the same messaging, too much of proliferate in the space, and they realize that if this person has managed to proliferate himself on the TikToks, on YouTube with the shorts and the TikToks and all these kind of things, and he's blowing up and he's gonna bring all this negativity to the space, he might influence the Twitch space to become a more toxic environment, and they would not want that, to make it a hostile environment for people, where you'd have people who are his fans on Twitch going to all these other streamers saying all these kind of crazy stuff. You're useless, this is how you make money, you're not even adding any productive value to society, like, bro, yeah, that's a whole situation waiting to happen. And they banned him, rightfully so, to save their business and their business model and to keep their industry running at a certain level. It's their house.
you have, I think it's much bigger. I think you're overlooking the COVID and the election misinformation part, which the first 2 strikes I got that happened even before that clip happened.
Well,
That
I
is
mean, listen,
facts
I
too.
can't speak to those two strikes. I will say that anytime I heard you speak about COVID
Sure.
or when you were
Maybe you
no,
should. If you're gonna talk about no,
hold up.
but
Let me finish. When I've heard you speak about COVID
It's
stuff
heated. It's
or
heated.
election stuff, you didn't know what you were talking about 95% of the time. I think there's a giant difference between someone's talking about edgy research or things that are counter to the popular narrative, and then what you were doing was just rambling about shit you didn't know about. Yeah, you sounded like a loony conspiracy theorist half the time you spoke about these. And if somebody else
And that is the key. The optics on it is he sounded like a loony person. You know what I mean? He sounded a bit too crazy. So everything else that came out of his mouth sounded even more crazy. And that's the thing. It's like, oh, he's that conspiracy guy. So obviously, what everything he believes in is crazy. Like, he really did a number on himself,
won't
man.
tell you, I will. So I'm not
Like as a kid, he was very eloquent. He was, very personable. The way he spoke was in an intelligent manner. He was literally like a little mini Destiny. He was like a mini Destiny, and he had it in the bag. And then he just went very volatile, and he just lost all that sauce
surprised they nailed
for just to become more raw and more, to the point.
you for that. There's sympathetic cases in which I think people make sensible cases against the COVID narrative, but you're not one of them. You were never one of them. You
countless
schizo posting about it.
This information is being posted all the time online. You can make an Earth is flat documentary. You can make all these conspiracy theories. But why are only certain conspiracy theorists labeled as harmful, and why are only certain conspiracy theorists taken off and removed? If you think I sound like a lunatic, but why is it that mine is the one that gets removed and other people, it's fine?
No, people who spread nonsense conspiracies get removed off YouTube every day. They just don't get to be as big as you. They didn't come in on the platform on some other shit where they were talking.
Yeah, people who have influence are the ones we notice when they get evicted from certain spaces. Those who don't have any influence or any importance, they don't get noticed and they just go under the radar. So it seems like he is the only one getting evicted for certain things.
Where they were
Did I
doing
say that
1 minute
was not-
podcasts that were like very kosher, and then once they had a big platform, all of a sudden they start talking loony conspiracies. But I can assure you, YouTube removes every single day a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists who talk just as bad as you, if not much worse.
What did I say that was nonsense?
Bro, I'd watch you talk about COVID. I knew you didn't know what you're talking about.
What?
Now-
Tell me something specific.
Bro, I'm not gonna pull up the clips. I just tell
Okay,
you
then
that.
don't say it's nonsense. Don't overwrite it as like lunatic conspiracy theories if you can't say one thing I said that's nonsense.
Well, so
just-
hold on. So because I do a lot of vaccine studying, so like basically every comment you made about
Thank
vaccines was like calling it the jab, saying that it was like government mandated shit that wasn't going to help you or make you feel any better. I don't know if you used the word poison ever in regards to it, but like basically everything you had to say about it was even, like
Well, this is what we're saying. It's gonna help you. It's gonna help you boost your immune system, as we know. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, the survivability of it was just so high. The survival rate was just so high that the forcefulness at which they were progressively moving it onto people was a bit too much. It was a bit too crazy.
So like here's like a comparison I make, and I hate this guy to
Like,
disagree with him, but
like
have you
if it had the same mortality rate as Ebola with the same spread patterns and same transmission methods, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. But essentially, it was a more, lethal, more dangerous version of a flu, because as we know, all flus are coronaviruses. And this one just happened to come in 2019 at the latter half.
heard of like Brett Weinstein?
Yeah.
That dude is I'm pretty sure that guy is pretty vaccine skeptic, and he's talked about a lot of vaccine related issues. But I think he's still on. I think he literally has a show on YouTube. But he probably brings up like a lot of the points that filter down to you, but he says it in a way less inflammatory way. It doesn't sound like he's just like going crazy, like screaming
Really,
about
it's
vaccine.
not really what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly.
Because Abed cannot give any
Because we all understand how communication works, especially with human beings. About 93% of communication is done non-verbally. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. 55% is body language, how you move, and he was moving a bit crazy. That was funny, but we have to admit that was funny. That was funny. But, just the whole gestures, he looked a bit unhinged and... Like, man, I'm wishing this guy the most success, I know he can turn it around. Like, good luck to him, I don't want anyone to go down and go down bad, I want people to realize what they're doing, evolve, become more systematic, become more, you know, poignant, more sharp, more lethal in their approach.
Specifics. He says overall it's nonsense, it's conspiracy theories, lunatic garbage. But if I'm saying similar things to Brett Weinstein and I removed it, it's pretty much
No. What you just
how
said.
you say it, not what you say.
What you
If it
just
hurts your
said.
feelings, if it triggers the
Yeah.
thoughts, then they're gonna remove it.
Yes.
If I'm too aggressive,
Yes.
if I'm too mean about it, then they gotta remove it because people get.
Yeah, but what you just said is that's not only true on YouTube. That's true in life, right?
Yeah.
Like, how you say things sometimes is more important than what you say. In fact,
Exactly.
you should know this from like your pickup artist shit, right? Or from
You
like
should.
personal stuff in terms of talking to women or whatever.
You really
like,
should.
Sometimes it's not exactly what you say. Sometimes it's how you say things. But that's true everywhere. There's no place in life where that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if I got a guy that I'm talking about and some guy's like, oh, is this guy very smart? And I'm like, of course he's not smart. He's a dumb, right? That sounds a lot
And
different
that distinction is what
than somebody saying like, is that
Andrew
guy
used.
smart? And I'm,
Sorry, that distinction is what Andrew used by his own self-admission to become more popular, saying things in a way that is more triggering than saying them in a way that is more palatable. And that again is him just using a bit of understanding into communication methods and how people communicate and saying things, even though sometimes or most of the times are correct, the way he says them forces the individual to take note and feel bad for even thinking that he might be correct, even though he is. Crazy.
And I'm like, oh, well, you know, like he comes from like a really background. The guy never went to school, single mom or whatever. You know, like, yeah, he doesn't know a lot about finance. Now I'm saying the same thing, but it's way fucking different.
Sounds
Right?
way
Somebody's going
better.
to hear the first thing, they're going to lose their mind. They're going to say, oh, yeah, shit, okay, of course I understand. Right? Even if it's the same thing, like how you phrase things or how you approach things. It's not so much that you're giving different information. It's that it makes the intention behind the information look a lot different. So like there are some vaccine skeptic people that like I hear them talk and I hate what they say, but it's probably coming from like a decent place, like a well-meaning place. But there are other vaccine skeptic people I hear where it's like, oh, this guy's just like filled with like vitriol and hate, and that's all he's about.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like how you say things is pretty important.
Okay. I think I proved my point by saying Abba labeled me as a crazy lunatic. And
See, and there you go. That is the problem there. Okay, like, no, take a minute, digest, understand, and say, you know what? Yeah, you are right. I should have been smart with my messaging. Like the guy, your dude said this. The top G said he said this already. You need to understand that when you hit, you should have pivoted. When you hit the pinnacle, what you should have done is delete all videos and start fresh with a more intuitive presentation style.
thing.
Yeah,
about
because
why.
you know what? When I hear retarded shit, I try not to keep it in my memory. And you said so much retarded, dumb stuff on your streams. I just would erase it immediately afterwards.
Destiny, you've heard this.
Yeah, he
opinion
went
in your
for
panels.
smoke.
XQC said dumb shit. That other guy on the Muda, the Indian dude, said it's retarded. And every
Abba's
single
no
time,
claim.
what's dumb about what I said? And nobody knows anything. They just don't like the way I said it, so they label it as
No.
retarded and write it off instead of listening to what I'm saying. Because it doesn't matter to them. They'll lowbrow me because they're 35 and they think that they know more than what I'm talking about, and they've been brainwashed to this point where they don't feel like they need to listen to me. But it's fine. They never know why they think I'm retarded. They just say I'm retarded, overwrite me, and then move on.
Yeah, that's generally how it works. When I watch something that's incredibly stupid on somebody's stream, I turn it off and move on to the next thing.
Using
And so,
these
no,
words.
I'm gonna finish.
If you're a commentator,
Let me land.
So if you want me to do an actual debate with you where I go and grab clips, I would normally, but everything's deleted, so a little bit hard to quote all the dumb shit you said. But absolutely, I would watch your stuff. I'm like, this is inaccurate, and I would just move on, stop watching it. Now you can go watch a debate with Destiny, and you could probably find a bunch of stuff that you said that was dumb.
Yo, he's getting smoked, bro. He's getting cooked, bro. He's getting cooked.
Because my memory can't remember doesn't mean it didn't happen.
You're getting a little heated about it. I can remember all of Destiny's points that he brings up and tell you why I think he's wrong about it.
Okay, well, congratulations. You got a better memory than me.
Yeah, I know, but for you to have such a strong opinion about what I believe and to say it's dumb, stupid, retarded, and all this, and then not know one reason is pretty predictable. And we've heard it over and over again. DGG, everybody in this chat has heard it over and over again. I'll question people, Why do you think it's stupid? They don't know.
I think there's a different barrier for like the expectation of knowing particular things depending on the environment you're confronting
They
somebody
don't
at.
even know
So
one.
like what? No, hold on. So here's the thing, right? So this is something that I'll repeat a lot on stream. So my first relationship, well, my second one, my kid's mom, got really physically abusive. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened, and we fought over the dumbest things. It was so stupid every fucking time. It was like the most random stupid shit. But if something, and it was a lot. I called the cops on her 3 times. It was a crazy relationship. But if somebody would say, "Oh, really? You fought over dumb shit? What'd you fight over? Name 2 things." I actually don't know if I could. I don't know. I don't remember the specifics. I think as humans, I think we remember kind of these broad like characterizations of things, but we don't archive like every single individual.
That is true. You don't naturally do that, and that's because especially in moments of heat and moments of anger or something is frustrating you, that's something you generally don't want to remember. So if you know something's annoying, something is triggering to you, that is something you will scrub out of your mind quickly. Your brain will gladly get rid of that information because it says useless, useless, useless. I don't need it. I don't need it. So whenever Abba was probably listening to Sneako's misinformation, he probably thought, this is useless. This is cap, 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 cap. And thus falls out of memory to save room for the stuff you actually do enjoy, the stuff you actually connect with, the stuff you care about, and the stuff that actually hits you in the soul.
Fact, because we're not computers. We usually come away from a feeling. We usually come away from an event with a certain feeling or emotion about it, and that's all we really take
I
with
like
us.
how Abba did going into this call. With
Do
a lot
what?
of emotion, a lot of feelings,
Yes.
stupid, but nothing to back
Well,
it
no,
up.
no, no.
All right,
Hold
I'm
on. To be
gonna-
clear, wait. Abba came to this call to argue. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he mad.
He dipped.
Wait, is my stream dead?
Oh,
Wait,
I think he left.
He
yeah,
dipped.
that's why I just said really.
Yeah, he said I came into this call to argue and do this. I didn't come to this call.
No,
I
yeah,
didn't know
fuck.
how
I
to
was just
talk
gonna say that. Yeah, to be clear, Abba came into this
Get
call
him
to
outta
chat
here.
with me and Dan about. Oh well.
you.
Fuck.
See, this guy always runs away from accountability.
Said this guy. He didn't even say his name.
Cringe to me. It's like all account
Wait,
always
hold on.
runs away from accountability. That's why I find these red pill dudes often really cringe to me. It's like all accountability for women, none for themselves.
But that's the part. That's the part that it doesn't make sense. It's not all. I don't understand. It's not all. And I saw a video about, I think, Destiny. I think I saw that video where Destiny talks about DJ Academics and his whole situation. And the situation there is that he is not even prescribed, and even Abba Preach, they did a video on DJ Academics. He is not part of that community. Like, he is not a person who believes in a lot of the rhetoric that, people in the red pill space would normally say. So to lump him in with those people is disingenuous on Abba's part, because it just shows that he has a lack of understanding on academics' part. Because academics readily clowns people like Rolo. Rolo. He clowns the dude because he thinks what he says is ridiculous. The way he brings all these things together is ridiculous. Like he doesn't rate it. He does not rate the information. So for him to come on and say, these lot of people, you know what I mean? Like, again, there is a fair few of them that do not take accountability, like there is in any portion of people. See, Mr. Decline, he also does not take accountability. But again, there are people in those areas, in all areas, who don't take accountability. And in this case, I think what Sneako needs to do is stop complaining about what's happened to him and just deal with it. You made your video. That's the end of it. Whoever makes videos after this discussing you and your downfall and you and your rise and you and your... Just forget about it, bro. It's not worth your time. You know who the people who rock with you, who are not going to go and make videos about you in your time of struggle, who are going to just back you and be there for you, support you, help you get back on your feet. Those are the people you want beside you. But again, don't get it twisted. You still need the people who will tell you the truth, but not expose you to the wider world. You know what I mean? You need them to call you out.
Bad things happen to you, it's always the world. Like, I can't take you seriously as a man when you get up on this stream and you're crying about how things have happened to you.
Yeah.
But you don't.
And the whole, because I'm telling the truth. Yes, in effect, you are telling a lot of the truth. But you need to take accountability. Like the way I said things is the reason why I am in the position I am today. And that is completely his fault.
See the ways in
Something
which
you could have changed.
Even when I f up, I understand. Like, listen, I remember this happened to me maybe 5 years back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting jumped when I left a club at one point. Okay, what had happened was that.
I just, I just wanted to say bye. I'm about to go get something to eat.
All right, man. Go enjoy yourself.
Love you, buddy.
So-
wait, are you guys in Miami right now, or?
Yeah, I'm in Miami.
Okay, cool. We might, if you want to get something to eat later when he's less mad. I'm here for a week and a half, so. But yeah.
Miami?
Yeah, I live down at I think I live like 5 minutes west of you guys. Yeah.
All right. You know, you guys want to hear something? I think you guys are gonna be proud of me.
Go for it. What's up?
I've realized I'm not a debater, I'm a master debater.
Okay.
And I just realized, man,
This guy's a
I know
joker,
my
bro.
lane, so I'm gonna let you guys do the
Handle the
debating
business.
Stuff. I'm gonna gladly watch with my popcorn, mouth full. But you guys have a W stream. Chat, W's in the stream right now. Spam the W's up, chat, right now. All right, bye, Alba. Bye, Destiny.
Alba, when you want me on your dating show, you can talk to me nice again. Bye.
Damn.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm out too.
Oh yeah. No, sorry, dude. You're in the middle of a bunch of wild stream drama. Don't worry. We're and in the streamer world, we're all Kanye West. Just it is what it is.
It's just, bro. I came on this stream to talk economics and record labels, and then it turned into like, bro, quote the dumb stuff I've said before.
You understand my empathy drives on working on Max here. I'm sympathetic for him and empathetic to some extent because he probably had one of the biggest ricochets of
Exactly.
like rubber bands in career terms of like all time, right? Like he went from like being kind of like decently popular to grow, and in the past year he shot up immensely, had a 6-figure month on YouTube, and then next month was deleted off the internet, right?
He was gone.
I can understand him not wanting to feel like I don't want to hear this shit right now about how like it's my fault and I need to do this and blah blah blah. Like everybody's after me, everybody's out to get me. I can understand that emotional response. I always say like in debates, I don't expect anybody to change their mind immediately. I wouldn't. I don't. I'm stubborn. But yeah, at some point he needs to he has to step back and be like, okay, what is like within my control? Like what can I do? You know, like. When because I've gotten banned from so much shit at this point. Like when I get banned, my first day I'll always say this out, like I'm gonna be mad as fuck. I'm gonna blame the world because fuck the world and it's not fair and it's bullshit. And I'll complain about that and I'll feel that. But then like day 2 is like, okay, well what can I do now? Because there's no point in crying over spilled milk. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna be sad over shit that's happened.
Exactly.
Life is so the fuck what? Like let's see what we do next. What other platform can we build? How can I change my behavior, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have to be able to do that second step or else
You have to be
my
adaptable.
worry for Sneako is he's gonna be a guy like basically ranting about
Yeah,
the
100%.
Matrix, to 45 viewers on Rumble, 6 months from now, blaming like everybody, and then he's gonna get banned from Rumble somehow when they get bigger and pick up sponsors, and he's gonna be like, "This is bullshit." Andrew Tate abandoned
Bro,
me.
the reason why I'm mad because I think it's sad. I think it's so avoidable, and we all said it was avoidable.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I'm mad.
Yeah, as
That's
soon
why
as he
I'm mad.
started fighting with like KSIs and like started to get more unhinged and like fighting with every single fucking person, and like wasn't like willing to like chill just a little bit, like
Yeah.
It's
Pump the
watching
brakes.
somebody
Pump
who
the
drinks
brakes.
and drive, get in a car accident, and then you ask him why, and then they say the other driver was stupid. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you don't see it, and you're gonna keep drinking and driving. Okay, then go do whatever you want.
That's
to.
facts,
At
yo.
some point, I'm not
Spitting.
gonna mostly invest myself into making sure. And like, I didn't even. He got mad at me because I didn't cover the topic.
Well,
what I'm saying?
probably
Like,
because
why
what
did
he
you
was
talk
asking,
about
he probably wanted favorable coverage. That's probably what he was.
100%.
Which is such bullshit. Don't ask me.
Why? You see, this is what I'm saying. But that's why you have friends to help you when you're down. If that is not his friend, that is clearly not his friend. If he just goes, well, that's bullshit. Like I'm not gonna give you favorable coverage. It's like what? And what are friends for, bro? If I help you when you're down, it's like, oh yeah, you need $1, bro. Ah, that's bullshit. You ain't gonna get not from me, not from me. You made your own mistakes. You got to deal with your mistakes. Like, bro, come on. People remember these type of things, and when they're up, they'll bring you up too. You know what I mean? When you're down, they'll help you out too. Like that's the law of equal and equivalent exchange. You need these things. Fullmetal Alchemist, if you know, you know. But yeah, you need these things. Like that right there just shows me this. You don't want to have a friend like this, man. You don't want to have a friend like this. It's well and good he would tell you the truth. He would be honest with you. He would give you the real raw stuff. That is commendable. But on the other end, you want a friend like Destiny. Destiny is not doing hit pieces. He may joke here and there. But he's not doing no hit pieces. He's not saying da da da. He may speak on what he thinks the downfall may be, but he's still compassionate and empathetic. He is well rounded in his friend. He's not saying, oh, you're a bad person for doing this and that, oh, da da da, making jokes at someone else's expense, especially your friend when they're down. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So Abba was never really his friend. He was never really in it like that. So that cannot be respected. We cannot salute that. It cannot be respected. And that's why Mr. Sneaks even said that F&F are where it's at, because they're not going to do that. They're not going to backstab you and kick you when you're down. It's unnecessary. They don't do that.
For that.
Not
If
the
I
kind of
don't
people
say
they are.
nothing, it's generally because I have nothing positive to say most of the time.
Sure.
That's why that was me doing you a solid. I didn't keep
That's
my
you
mouth.
doing you a
If I
solid.
would, I'm not going to get here and do some fucking.
Well, why didn't you say it?
PR stuff for you.
This is the key. This is the key of why, again, the friendship is just not there. Is if he was genuinely your friend, or you genuinely cared about this individual, what you'd have said when he asked you to make a video, saying, look, I am known for content that is essentially covers all aspects, the positive and the negative. And if I was to make a video on you, it'd be very disingenuous of me as that type of content creator to not make the video talking about the L's you've taken and where you might have taken those L's and not being able to joke about that. If I'm going to make a video like this, I'm letting you know that it's not going to be all positive. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. It might be negative. And if you're willing to accept the fact it's going to be negative, I can proceed to make the video. But if you don't want that to be out there, because of obviously the reach and the influence I have, then let me know and I won't make that video. There you go. And that's how you get it done. You understand that this person's really for you, but they don't want to compromise their morals and their beliefs, but they're still your friend. But clearly that conversation didn't happen. Like a more basic conversation happened of make the video. He said, if you want me to make the video, I'll make the video. And then he just, went left field with it and did all this exposure kind of things, hit him with a little expose. And that was, disingenuous. But again, have no expectations. That's what I'm saying. People like Abba, you don't want them as friends, especially not close friends. You can have them as acquaintances, but don't expect much from them. Know who they are and what they're about, and accept them for that.
Basically,
I don't do that for nobody. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that. So I was
See?
hitting up offline, be like, "Yo, be careful."
Those are his values.
He didn't want to hear. He said, "Yo, these guys are whack. They didn't cover." I said, "You want me to cover? I'll cover it, and I'll say the truth." Now, you don't need to like it. I don't really care at this point. But
See,
to me,
he doesn't care.
there's just something really annoying about people who just expect everybody else to take accountability but don't understand their own involvement in the situation. I get what you're saying about being maximum empathy, but at some point when everybody warns you what it is, and it's a different thing if something happens to you randomly.
But you're still gonna be there, even though they're
and
stupid.
then
You
someone's
still
like,
have
"Yo,
to be
it's
there.
your fault." I can understand you being salty about that.
Yeah.
When like everybody's warning you. Everyone on the face of the planet's telling you you're going too fast and you don't give a shit. And then afterwards you want to act all mad about everything, bro. You miss me. You lose a lot of my sympathy at that point.
I think it's
We
funny.
all saw you crack.
Yeah, I think there's probably a stream clip. As soon as it was fun, I think I literally said exactly to him that like, bro, you got to be careful because when you're on top and everybody's behind you, you'll feel like the wind is in your sails and you can take on the fucking world. But as soon as like the tides turn a little bit, you're going to be the loneliest motherfucker on the planet.
Oh,
And
100%.
it always happens. Nobody has the internet jerk wave in their favor forever. Like the tides turn, like the waves ebb and flow. You can't pull that shit off forever, and you have to be like in a comfortable spot so that like when people start to hate on you, you're like, oh, I'm fine, I can chill or whatever. But if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, once the like waves are against you, like it's always
It's a
the end.
wrap.
That's like the
It's
death
a
of,
wrap.
like every content creator that dies that way.
Yeah, and there's two separations when it comes to like what's smart and what's right. And I try to make that distinction in the video. I'm like, I think it's absolutely wrong that he got deplatformed.
For sure, I agree. Yeah.
But there's a difference between that and what's smart. I agree you shouldn't get deplatformed. But if you're out here simulating yourself, fucking other people, if you're talking about COVID during a pandemic where, YouTube is extremely sensitive about all this information, and you don't do proper research, and you don't like think about what the fuck that is that you're saying, when you're doing that, you're playing stupid.
Yeah, it's wild as fuck, but I actually can't believe I'm saying this. This is like a weird thing, but do you know who Low Tier God is?
Yes, I do know.
Oh, we need my Googles on this.
Yeah, that guy actually, every
Low-tier
single
God.
thing he's had to say on stuff related to this is completely right. He's like, bro, like, people don't want this shit on their platforms. Like, it's as simple as that. And until you need to start looking at it like that. Like, what do they want on their platforms? If you're trying to think of, like, well, what's right and what's moral and what's, supposed to be blah, 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 like, you're fucked. You're like, that's not how these platforms work. They're thinking about like, their business, about their bottom line, and they don't want to carry, like, ultra risky content and shit. And that's just the facts. Yeah. But,
I mean, that's a tough truth. I don't know. I just don't understand this kind of autistic, like, this is the truth, and I'm going to say no matter what. And because I believe it, it's like, you know what? Everything you say comes with a certain level of responsibility, especially when somebody's paying your bills. It's like, you got to understand how you're talking about these topics because it affects
100%.
their bottom line. So you got to be
100%.
smart.
You have
Not
to
saying
be-
you
yep.
can't say what you want to say. But if you're not even going to take the time to think it through,
you have to be tactful.
I mean, the business is going to act in its own interest. I don't think it's right, but it's just like, how do you think this kind of stuff should unfold, in your opinion?
For me, like, how should people like Sneako be dealt with?
No, what can we reasonably expect from platforms? I'm not asking
Oh,
idealistic.
I think platforms need to fucking nut up. Okay, the idea, like,
You see, again, I think I get the kind of flow where he's about to go here, and I'm gonna beat him to the punch. Yes, platforms can have the power to become more resistant to just being pushed by the mob to do a certain thing, because realistically these people are not going to go anywhere. Their platforms are optimized for the content they have on there, and these platforms are on point. And even if advertisers kind of feel a bit we might not want to post or back this company as much because they have a bit of risky content on there, at the end of the day, if they stick their grounds, their platform is the best, it is the most optimized, and quality always wins, regardless of if there might be some unfavorable things or some things on there that you might not like to see. But again, all you need to do is just put more filters in place to filter out that content on the part of the platform holders or the platform owners. Put those measures in place to allow people to filter content in a certain way, and if there's certain content like above 18 or whatever, they can just filter that out completely. And if people put that age limit for content like this, like the stuff Sneako was talking about, the stuff Andrew was talking about, the top FNF was talking about, you can completely filter that out and just have more pleasant content on your space. And advertisers as well could use those metrics to then just promote on content that is safe, instead of promoting on content they may think is a bit more abrasive. And again, these are simple measures that these platforms can put in place, obviously with a little bit of effort, a little bit of elbow grease, but they can do it. They have the powers. But again, it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's the easiest thing to just say like, no, they don't like them. Okay, delete.
I just think platforms are pussies these days. I
are.
understand the expectation is going to act like pussies, but like when fucking Google is like pulling shit from people off of YouTube, like bro, nobody's going to stop using fucking YouTube because Sneako's
exactly.
Like, don't be fucking crazy.
Exactly.
Like I feel like platforms for some reason they give in so easily, and like I really don't. I know people say, oh, public pressure, blah blah. I don't think the public pressures are that much. I think the platforms are just super babies about it. But I mean, like that's how they're going to act. I understand.
It's just laziness at that point.
Apocalypse happened?
Yep.
Somebody started reporting the fact that there's a bunch of weird stuff on YouTube, and all of a sudden advertisers start pulling their dollars.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that was in response. Was that the Jake Paul shit, or was that before that?
I think it might have been something else. I can't remember what the thing is. Now, imagine how easy it is for anybody to say, this is what male creators are doing on YouTube. They run his clip. How many advertisers do you think are going to pull?
No, I mean, I understand. Like, it could get bad. It's always random. You never know. But, like, yeah, it could get really bad, of course.
Right. Because that's stuff that's kind of hard to defend, or how hard to,
Yeah, no, I agree. But the only thing that sucks is that, like, at some point you would hope, and I know it's naive maybe, but, like, you'd hope that, like, companies would take, like, some sort of, like, principled stance on things. And it's like, well, maybe it's important that we have, like, edgy content, or maybe it's important that we not, like, like, I think that.
Whoa.
What?
Just like 30 minutes ago, you and Dan were fighting me tooth and nail on like some kind of pro-capitalist thing where companies will fuck over anybody to make their bottom line and make all their investment back. You don't think YouTube operates in that capacity at all?
Yeah,
You're talking about principles of a company, and like just earlier, just talking about like it's a capitalistic investment when it comes to artists and how they treat them.
Yep. So the difference is that like different people or different entities can bear different things. And I tend to judge people
depending on the value they bring to the market. He's completely right. Depending on the value they bring to the market, and if those places are places which cannot be replaced, there is nothing like it to offer competition or offer viable, competition, then it will stand the test of time, regardless of what type of actions they choose to take and what type of content creators they're allowed to stay or kick off. People will still come back because that is where things are optimized. That is where the system works the best.
On what they can bear. So like when I say that like I don't really approve of gambling that much, I don't think I take a gambling sponsor, and I end up doing it and people judge me for it, it's like, that's fair, you can judge me. I make a lot of fucking money. I don't need to take a gambling sponsorship to survive, right? But if there's like a 200 viewer streamer and they're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about gambling, and then a big sponsorship comes by and 200 viewers, damn, that's a lot more to that person. I can understand their situation being a bit more compromised. I don't know if the entire music industry could exist offering every individual talent preferable contracts. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. But I do know that Google could have more of a backbone and resist some sort of advertiser pressure.
Backbone.
For at least a little bit to show that, like, hey, listen, like, we can have a diversity of content. People aren't going to fucking mass leave the platform. It's bullshit. You guys are having this
100%.
reaction. I
It
know
would
most people
not
are coming
happen.
back. Like, I
2
think
days
people
max
will,
and they'll come back.
But that's just how I view it.
I mean, it certainly could if Google was like a person with individual principles, but I think as a company, it's just really thinking about profits for the most part. I think its principles or whatever it professes, I think we both know that shit's secondary if non-existent. So
Yeah, of course, but I mean, the argument- yeah.
the way YouTube acts is exactly how I would expect the capitalistic company that you guys described earlier to act. Which
Yeah, but
is,
the hope, I guess-
I'm going to prioritize profit.
Yeah, the hope would be that in like it for the long-term health of the market, like we're not. If we keep running down this path, it's probably not going to be where we want to be. It's probably not a good thing, right?
Oh, I agree.
Because,
So
like,
now
look at, like,
we're
today, like,
introducing-
Ethan
now
got
we're
fucking-
introducing ethics into how companies run their
Yeah,
business. Now
and
we're
Ethan just
introducing-
got like hit for a week from fucking YouTube. He probably feels mind fucked right
Yeah,
now.
he
Watch
is
took
so
2 strikes on his
close,
channel. He's
so
feeling mind fucked right now. Like, it
close
seems like
to
this shit
getting
is starting to, like,
finished.
bleed over to like fucking everything, which is getting a little bit spooky, I think.
And that's the thing. It's going to become the game of articulation. Who can articulate their points in such a way that to cause the least amount of backlash. And again, it's going to become more and more restrictive because eventually people are going to start looking for, the things that are less and less inflammatory are just going to become, it's like one of those things, like it changes over time. Like what was acceptable 10 years ago is not acceptable now. What is acceptable now will not be acceptable 10 years in the future. So I'm saying it's going to become more and more restrictive. Unless something's done about it, I think it's going to be like a rubber band. It's going to be a big backlash. It's at the stretching point right now where there might be a huge backlash and people might just be like, you know what, F it. We do it once, say what we want. It is what it is.
So, one thing
But
I reject,
we'll see.
the whole notion that like one person monopolizes the truth. One thing that Sneako does that I find absolutely cringe is like, I'm just telling the truth. I'm always the one who's telling the truth. And it's like, wait, so you think everybody else who's on that panel when you were speaking in front of Congress or whatever, do you think everybody else there doesn't speak any form of truth? It's only
I actually need to
and
see
I
this
think he
video
really believes that.
on
I'm like,
Congress. I need to see this video on
Jesse,
Congress.
you don't think that you
See if I can
take
search
on
it up
hard
real quick.
topics even just as much as Sneako?
No, yeah, I need to stick up. I said I was going to stick up for somewhere. I get Trainwrecks does that shit a lot too, where people will be in rooms like, I'm the only one that stands up for hard things. Like, bro, no, it's not. You're just wild, okay? I stand up for a lot of hard things. I've taken a lot of big revenue hits and shit. I got departnered over my Rittenhouse comments. I got fucking banned from Twitch that I've been on for 12 fucking years. Like chill. Like, all you're out here doing is like repeating shit that you heard on the fucking Joe Rogan podcast. Don't act like you're taking hard positions. Like, you've done like 2 seconds of reading on these topics. Fuck you. No, yeah, it's kind of dumb, I think, when people go for shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't find it. I see the video, but it's just a
Covers that whole situation.
guy in Congress talking about him, but I think I've seen that video before.
Yeah, I think
I
one
think
thing
that's it, isn't it?
he said that I remember I got really annoyed with was
Go
when
ahead.
he said,
Get mad.
this you can see in the video, I pretty much quoted, but he says, if you guys really cared, because he says, like, Abba calls me sometimes, he says he cares as he's giving me advice privately. If you really cared, you'd talk about my deplatform.
In a favorable
The
manner.
thing was like, bro, when I was giving you advice offline to how to keep your channel and keep things running, you didn't think that was caring at all? Like,
That was
sometimes I
caring,
think
yes.
the way people expect you to show appreciation for them is to
Mm-hmm.
either like suck off what they say or to like
No.
support anything they do, irrespective of how wrong they are. And to
No. See, that's the part where he's wrong. It's not about having to support everything they do or support what they say, what they do. It's not about that. It is just about knowing when not to strike at someone. You know what I mean? When not to do your thing, as they say. Because he said, you're doing the thing. You're doing the thing that everyone else is doing. So you have to know when to speak and when not to speak. Maybe when everything's blown over and he's recovered, then you can speak on it. But at this direct moment in time, you don't have to say anything. As you said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So just tell him, look, there's nothing nice I'm going to say if I have to say anything, because I have to stay true to my character and stay true to my values and morals. And if I'm making a video, I'm exposing you. That's what he should have said. And then said, I'm not going to, for your sake, I'm not making the video.
me, that's not
And keep
really
it there.
supporting somebody. To me, that's not actually being, somebody
That's what he could have done. But he didn't. He said, you know what, you pestering me, I make the video and I expose you.
who cares about
Nuke you.
Yeah.
This guy is willing to nuke all friendships and relationships. This guy is, he's moving a bit.
I
moving
have
a
to
bit.
be able to tell you the truth when you're acting stupid, and I have to be able to tell you like some like uncomfortable stuff, even if you end up hating me, because that's what it means, in my opinion, to care about someone.
Yeah, of course. I say this all the time. You don't want like a friend group of dick riders because like you're never gonna get good advice, and then one day you're gonna be left like completely fucked, wondering what happened, and it's like, well, nobody around you had the actual like balls to tell you like what you needed to hear, you know?
Yeah. So I think that was like one thing that bothered me, and I think that's probably why I got a bit emotional when he's on my case, because I'm just like, bro, I don't waste my time talking to people offline. Like I can count on probably at one hand how many creators I really talk to offline. So if I take time, obviously, this like, and you just spit that in my face like, oh, you don't give a shit, then I'm like, bro, you can't be helped. And I don't even think this is a relationship that we should keep going, because I don't think I can do much more.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why
I think Abba is too he's very opinionated in the sense that Sneako too, but in the sense that he's not willing to just keep quiet and be silent, even to the benefit of Sneako. Like if he's getting pissed about something, he gets to the breaking point of being like, you know what, you want the video, I'm gonna make the video, and it's not gonna be good, and I don't care.
It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, because I think there's a potential there to do a lot of good go forth. But if people want to squander it because they don't want to listen to nobody, then what can you do? You know, another thing that pissed me off too, it was like you and I would say some shit, and this guy would be like, "Oh, you guys are bots, you're blue pilled, whatever." Andrew Tate would repeat the same thing. All of a sudden, he's sucking his dick.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck.
That's
no,
facts.
dude.
Yes.
Oh,
Get
that's
the
facts.
fuck up out of
No,
here.
no,
Like,
no.
I literally played
Yes,
clips back
yes.
to back of what Andrew Tate said, what I said, and this dude had so
Yes.
much smoke when I.
And that's the key. That's the key again. That's the key. That's the one thing you have to do as being his friend. You can say, look, I know you understand. Like it's the Kanye. It's like the whole Kanye, you're broke situation. You're not making as much money as I do. So why should I listen to you? That's the key. So he's probably seeing it as, you guys are on my level. Why should I listen to you? This person is a multi-millionaire. Probably got hundreds of millions chilling. And you guys don't, so why should I listen to you guys, petty millionaires, ain't got that much money, bread it up, when I can listen to someone like this who's got it all figured out. And until I hear those words from the horse's mouth, I'm not going to believe you guys. I'm going to keep thinking what I think. And that's a problem.
Wait, are you talking about when Tate was talking about the college shit?
You'll go to school. The very talented kids will be taken to the side. You're the top 1%. You're going to a separate class. And if you're not put in that separate class, you ain't. You're just like, okay, I'm working in the factory. Yes, sir. That's my job. And you're just going to do your job because the ego ain't there. So the ego is a fantastic thing for America, but it's also a detriment. So it can play both ways. But
I think if you know the value that you bring to the world, you understand what you bring, then you could kind of put yourself in a position to win, because we're not all going to be, like you said, leaders. Some people are followers. So.
But this is my point. When everyone has an ego, everyone wants to be the king on the chessboard.
Yeah.
You don't win.
I feel like when I was talking to Sneako, didn't I actually use the exact phrase like too many chiefs and not enough Indians? Probably because society works.
That's the key. I think that's the key. I think you must be a great follower to be a great leader. And that is the difference. That is the difference. You have to go through the levels of being a follower, listening, understanding, taking the word of your commander and doing as you should. And once you've learned those roles and those skills, and then you can eventually in your later years become a leader. But it's not overnight. Like everyone has the capacity to be with the due diligence and work, but not everybody has the willingness and or want to do it.
Works better when you've got a lot of followers and just a few leaders. If you've got a society full of people
right?
Yeah, if you've got a society full of everybody wants to be a leader, too many chiefs, not enough Indians is a saying, right? Then like society would probably fall into fucking disarray. Everything would be fucked, would be my guess. Like there's a name for this. Like it's a well observed thing where everybody thinks they want to be a leader and everybody wants to blah blah blah.
The chess game by having endless kings. That just gives you a bunch of vulnerabilities. Everyone has to know their role and play it. I've played the role of in pawn, knight, my whole life. I was pawn, knight, bishop, rook.
No, I didn't talk about the call. I didn't see that clip.
Oh, dude, oh my god, I almost lost my mind. So we're watching this clip of like the emergency meeting bullshit or whatever, and Andrew Tate is talking about how like, yeah, I think like you got to find what you're good at and you've got to do it. And I think Sneako says something like, oh yeah, but like everybody's got to be a superstar, like you should go for the max. And Andrew Tate was like, no, of course not. Some people, their role in life might be to be like a really good auto mechanic or something. Like not everybody has to be like the top. Like it doesn't work when you've got everybody wanting to be a leader. Like you need a lot of followers. Like when I was this, I played my role.
Exactly. Some people are just content at a certain level and they don't need to rise above that because they're happy. They get to do everything they want to do in life at that level. So they don't need to rise above that. And that is perfectly fine. That is A-okay.
I went to the gym. You guys told me to punch the bag. I did it for 10 months and I didn't think about it. Blah blah blah.
As long as you can sleep soundly at night and not worry, you're good.
And Sneako said nothing the whole time. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like saying almost verbatim like some of the lines that like me and Abba were giving him in the college bit. And he like we just sat there and took it all. I was like, oh my god, I'm so triggered right now. Yeah. Also,
where's the truth then? If you always keep the truth, why didn't you keep that same energy? I'm like, bro, you see? So when it's somebody you need something from, all of a sudden you start quiet. That's the shit that really like annoyed me.
No, it's one of those things where it's like it's somebody you really look up to, you know what I mean? Someone who inspires you, someone you know has achieved, someone you know is competent. When that person says something, you're more likely to listen. It's human nature. It should be understood. And I know they understand this. It's human nature. You're more likely to listen to someone you admire than someone you don't. You know what I mean? Facts. You're more likely to listen to someone who looks the part than someone who doesn't. They could both be telling you the same exact information, maybe in slightly different ways, but the person who looks like they have everything intact, have everything together, you're more likely to listen to.
Especially when he tries to monopolize the fact that he's always a truth teller. I'm like, bro, miss me. You gonna say something?
I think that's the difference. What you should be saying is, I'm a truth seeker, not a truth teller. Because seeking out the truth and telling the truth is completely different things. He's looking to understand. And what he may think is the truth now could eventually change with more truths. When more truths are unfolded, unwound, and something.
no, yeah, I agree. It's just, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's just like, come on, bro. But anyways, that's not something you have to stay on. It's just those little tiny things that I'm like, you don't see anything you did
more
wrong
truths
in
are
all
realized.
of these things? No? Okay. Then I'll let this go.
And you don't have to see things you did wrong. Fuck it. You don't even need to be like, you can keep your ego. Just, do you see something you could have done differently, right? That's at the end of the day, like, at least figure that out, you know?
Which is wild because you see Andrew Tate comes out afterwards and recognizes the way his messaging was wrong.
Dude, okay, yeah, I was gonna. Okay, you just asked me what we were gonna say, and I wasn't gonna say that. And I didn't bring it up, but yeah, no, you're right because I was gonna say.
What
and
is
I don't
this
want to
reaction?
do that, trying to lowbrow or do some weird shit or like throw Tate in his face. But you're 100% right. I watched Andrew Tate's whole apology shit, and everything he said was like, "This is the perfect PR statement. It's the best."
I gotta go
I've
eat
ever heard in
after
my
this,
life.
man.
Hopefully,
Jeez.
he believes some of it, or he believes all of it, maybe ideally, right? But like, yeah, him talking about like,
Yeah,
even though I
dragging
got a certain message, I need to be careful when a lot of people are listening to me and blah blah blah. Andrew Tate's message was perfect. Like, I almost want to say, like, bro, Sneako, just go listen to what Andrew Tate said about everything. He was
facts.
1,000,000% right, and copy that advice. Because it's honest to God, the best advice. That clip or that like video of Andrew Tate talking about going from a small creator to a huge creator and having responsibility in your messaging, that was probably the best like explanation of that I've ever heard in my life, given by Andrew Tate. And it's golden advice. But,
No way.
You know, to throw that in his
He
face,
gave good advice.
everything probably feels like that, to him, but yeah.
I mean, at this point it does, but I think part of being, I don't know, a grown-up is understanding like you got to be able to hear some of the shit, even though it's not fun. It's not fun. Like,
Yeah.
yes. Like, I was really impressed when I saw the Tate video in that regards because to me it did sound sincere, so that's why I give him extra bit of credit. But it is a very mature thing to do because he could have said, "I'll let my nuts hang and fuck all you guys. I'm Tate. I live in Bucharest. I got millions." But he didn't do that. He said, "You know what? With reflection." And talking to other people, I realized that my messaging wasn't the best. That I allowed myself to easily be misconstrued, or I should be more cognizant of what I sound like in front of millions of people because opportunity for people to misunderstand if I'm not careful with my words is much larger. And I'm like, yeah, that's a sensible, responsible take. But the fact that it came from Angel, I was like, that's great. I'm just wondering, like, why wouldn't you think of emulating that or thinking that's a good thing? And that was part of my video as well. It's like, yo, Andrew did it. What you can't see. So that's why when he came on today, I was hoping. But I also understand maybe it's because it's fresh. I don't know.
I'm hoping. I mean, like, maybe I'm like a Sneako fanboy, I guess. But I'm like hoping in like a month or two. He just needs to
he's a fanboy.
Like in a month or two, be like, okay, yeah, like I thought about this. Like,
No, he's a real
change
friend.
up in this way and
That's
that
what he
way,
is.
Try to work on rebuilding in a more responsible way. Like, I hope that he can do that, but I mean, who knows? We'll see, I guess. It's hard when everybody around you is like saying "I told you so," and you feel like the world's against you, and everything seems to be reinforcing the ideas you have about the world, right? Like in his mind. You realize when he gets banned from these platforms, in his mind, everything he said was true. It is the Jews, it is the Senate, it is everybody out to get him. Like, it's just being reinforced over and over again. I was like, yeah, I know why you feel that way. Like, I've had that feeling too, that the whole fucking world is against you, of course. Like, but yeah. Okay, go. Final thoughts, whatever. I've got Mr. Rose Wrist here, and then I've got another Mr. Girl here that I think wants to chat.
All
right.
Final thoughts, man. Enjoy.
Anywho, we'll leave that there, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. And I will catch you on the next one. It has been king. Guys, let me know what you thought about that. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Who you think is in the right, who you think is in the wrong. Obviously, everyone has their side of the story, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let's start up a discussion, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, guys, as I always say, spread love, not Warcraft. I will catch you on the other side. Ooh, peace. The time is getting away from me.